Mikael Colville-Andersen back on stage at
On a
Utopian
fantastic
Hours.
talk.
This is the final talk and it's going to be exclusive. Thank you so much.
Stage is yours.
Thank you. It's really great to be back. Man, this is the coolest festival anywhere, and you all know that's true. Listen, I've spent 20 years in this urbanism game, in urban design, planning, and architecture, and I never thought I'd see the day where I would be standing here or anywhere in front of an audience ready to tell war stories. I never saw that coming. Didn't have that on my career bingo card back in the day. It's crazy. I've spent 3.5 years volunteering in Ukraine, doing whatever I can with the things I can do to help the Ukrainian people, and I tell you, it's been a wild ride. Thank you. It's been a really wild ride, and I just really want to tell stories about the projects that I've been doing. Also, the case that Ukraine has disappeared off the media radar. The only time we hear about Ukraine these days is like, oh yeah, look, another massive missile and drone attack on Kyiv and some other Ukrainian cities. Damn, that's fucked up, yeah, wow. But positive stories, things are happening on the ground. And I want to talk about how we can use war as an opportunity for positive urban change. First, the question I get basically everywhere is, Michael, it's Ukraine, Michael. Like, what the hell happened there? How'd you end up in Ukraine? Good question, short answer. Somebody asked me to come. Somebody asked me for my help. I received a personal and professional appeal back in April 2022 from these two cool urban planning dudes. I didn't know them at the time. They were in Lviv, and that city was under pressure. They have 700,000 people, and 200,000 people arrived almost overnight, internally displaced people. Millions of people hammering through their train station, heading for Europe and safety. Massive challenge for any city, but mobility was paralyzed. Gridlock on the streets from all these new cars. You had public transport, overcapacity, and these guys are going, what do we do? Like, literally, what the hell do we do about this? And they're brainstorming. They go, what do they do in Europe? What do they do in Europe? They ride bikes for transport. Bikes for transport. Used bikes as a mobility solution. And then they're like, oh my God, we have to ask that guy in Copenhagen who literally wrote the book about this topic. And then they're like, oh, he's never going to answer. Like, he's not even going to read the email. What are the odds? Did I read the email? Oh, yeah. I answered in under 10 minutes. I Zoomed with them the next day, and I said, yo, guys, I am in. I don't know how I'm going to transport used bikes from Denmark or Europe to a hot war zone. Literally not on my bingo card either, that one. I said, you know what? I'm going to figure this out. And I did. I started a nonprofit in July 2022. The first truck of many left Copenhagen filled with used bikes heading for Ukraine. That first shipment went to refugee camps in Lviv. Bikes for adults, for mobility, bikes for kids, for activity, giving them something to do to take their mind off of everything that they had experienced. And it was beautiful from day one, man. Just seeing the joy and the gratitude from these people, just like giving them a used bike, something that we take for granted, but that used bike was amplified as a gift. This is a beautiful beginning to my Ukrainian story. Now the bikes, they go to social workers and volunteers who use them to deliver food, water, medicine, humanitarian aid all over the country to the most vulnerable citizens, 40 cities and towns. 40% of Ukrainians still need regular humanitarian aid. But these bikes, they arrive registered as humanitarian aid, and then they turn around and start delivering it, enabling Ukrainians to help each other. I just love that poetry. Bikes are awesome. They're resilient, they're flexible, they're easy to fix. They can be shared by many people in one day. They can navigate any bombed landscape that you throw at them. Invaluable tools in a time of war, and with a massive impact. I've measured it. Just one of my bikes in the course of 1 year is going to do all of these things. Almost 11,000 kilometers riding the roads. 7,000 individuals helped. 18,000 kilograms of goods transported. And that's goods that are not in a van or a truck anymore. So we are easing the logistics burden. Very important in a war zone. Multiply that by all the bikes we've sent so far, the numbers are astronomical, man. It blows me away every time I see it. Multiply that by the thousands and thousands of bikes that are still needed in Ukraine. I have a list of appeals from cities and towns that is so long, man, and there's such a need for this. I know that bikes are an invaluable tool in times of war, crisis, and disaster. I've researched it, I've written about it, but man, 3.5 years in Ukraine, I just understand it. I see it, I witness it all over the country. Cities, small villages near the front lines. These are some social workers who use the bikes to deliver things to the vulnerable citizens. I just get it. The humble bicycle changing lives in a war zone. The longer I spent in Ukraine, I realized, man, there are so many other issues affecting the Ukrainian people, and mental health is top of the list. These statistics are shocking and depressing. Even if the war ended tomorrow, these issues aren't going away. These are generational. And I just said, you know what? I got to try and do something to help. I knew about some research, some science out of Denmark 10, 15 years ago, evidence-based health design and landscape architecture. Basically, you take the idea of a therapeutic garden, we have lots of those around the world, but with certain design interventions, a deeper understanding about how nature works, we can create a trauma-informed therapy garden that will actually heal mental trauma and PTSD, like heal it. And I said, I gotta make one of those. I found 5,000 square meters of forest, public land, public access, but right next to Ukraine's largest psychiatric hospital. Started thinking, planning, trying to get some money as well, sponsorship. Last year, it wasn't going so quick, but then I realized I'm standing there in April 2024, and I'm going, I have a garden, and it's springtime. Even I knew that those two things usually kind of work together. It was kind of the season for this thing, right? And I couldn't wait anymore, so I put out a call on my Instagram, hoping to get, I don't know, like 50 people to come and help me start this damn project. Oh, blew me away. 500 people showed up on that first weekend. 500 individuals, and we started work, clearing the land of the dead wood, 50 tons of garbage, making pathways, getting ready for design and implementation. And every weekend, that spring with volunteers, we continued the work, even building the structures that we needed on the site. And these are just volunteers, young volunteers, learning fast and hard how to use power tools and doing it well, getting the job done. And then last year in July, I don't know how we did it, but we did it. We opened the first Nordic Therapy Garden in Ukraine to heal mental trauma and PTSD. And it's a public facility. The patients at the hospital can use it as well. But really, it's also a showcase. You know, just saying, yo, Ukraine, here it is. This is how it works. Please copy paste them all over the country. You're going to need a lot of them. So I walked past this abandoned plot of land in my neighborhood in Kyiv. There's a lack of green space in my neighborhood, so this kind of irritates me. Any green space that's cut off from the public is undemocratic in my eyes. So I did some research. There was a 17th century building demolished in 1985, and then they put up a wall and barbed wire. It's a garden. There's barbed wire. It's crazy. And I said, you know, this sucks, right? So I went over the fence, I snuck in, and it was a jungle in there. Nature gone crazy for 40 years. I found out later that it was one invasive species of tree that had just like strangled the entire ecosystem. That was later. Back then, I'm thinking, we got to do something about this. I had some friends, and we just kicked in the gate, tore it down, opened it up to the street, asked for forgiveness later. And every weekend last autumn with volunteers, we just flipped this plot of land. We made pathways, we cut back the invasive species, planted trees and plants, removed 100 tons of garbage in this location, and we continued into the spring this year. And then we finally opened the first community garden in Kyiv. Big achievement for us and the volunteers. And half of it is for rest and relaxation. People come off the street, they sit on a bench, they take a moment, you know, therapeutic moment, hopefully, just eat a sandwich, whatever they do. It's 35 degrees on the street in the summer. It's 23 degrees in our garden, so we're tackling the heat island effect as well. Then there's the community. They got their boxes. They grow their vegetables. That's not all they're doing. They are engaging in interpersonal relationships, garden therapy, food security, learning skills about gardening, mental and physical strength. All these things are incredibly important anywhere in the world, any day of the week, man. But in a war zone, that importance is amplified. Oh, it's hard work in Ukraine, let me be honest, man. You know, you got super long days. There's no Danish work-life balance, so it really freaks me out. That's the hardest thing about it, really. I'm a volunteer. I make no money doing this, right? So I need time to relax. So I do stuff like this in my spare time. So smaller projects, therapeutic projects for me. Yeah, I take care of a parklet in my neighborhood. Some Ukrainian architects put it up a few years ago, and then they kind of left it. So every year I buy paint, get the neighbors, the kids, some friends, some beers, and we, well, the kids aren't drinking beers, but, you know, we fix this, we fix it up, keep the swing swinging. There's not a lot of public seating in Kyiv, man, but it's so amazing to watch how the local people just embrace this little tiny spot, right? I do so many of these projects. This is just a couple of them, man. Abandoned ping pong tables. According to the elders in the neighborhood, the last time you could play ping pong there was in the 1980s. So I said, that sucks, gotta fix it. So we bought some wood, me and a friend, we made tabletops and nets. Massive success. People are playing ping pong all day long. They're playing now, this very moment, I can guarantee it. All these tactical urbanism acupuncture projects are just as important in so many ways as the bigger projects. Oh, but then things are going to get crazy now, man. Last year, the Danish pharmaceutical company Novo Nordisk, with their corporate social responsibility, they have a big office in Ukraine, they came to me and they said, Michael, we have a lot of money. Do you have any ideas? And I'm like, what the fuck did you just say to me? It's always the other way around. I'm going, oh, say it again. Oh, that's it. Say it again. That's some sexy talk right there, man. Damn. And I said, but do I have ideas? Oh my God, sit down, get a pen, because here we go. I threw like 10, 15 ideas across the table at them, but we all settled pretty quickly on one idea. It was the biggest, the boldest, and the one that had the most immediate impact on the mental and physical health of Ukrainians. And that is why we were there. This is Kontraktova Square. This is the most iconic historic square in the history of Ukraine. The city of Kyiv was born right in the middle of that square. In the 6th century, there was already a market, buildings, there were street systems, there were traders on the river, people coming overland on the routes between Europe and Asia. That's why Kyiv exists where it is, because of that intersection, but it all started on this square. 1,500 years of epic history, and then they paved it over and left it for dead. And there were cars hammering through there, there was parking. They made it car-free back in 2017, but still, it was nothing. A wasteland, urban wasteland, and 11,000 square meters of it, wind-blown in the winter and just baking hot in the summer. It's in my neighborhood. I walk through there all the time, and I said, something has to change. Here, of all places here. Oh, this project, this started. This was massive, man. 8 months of planning and citizen engagement with locals. A new concept for many people in Ukraine. Wait, so you're asking my opinion and you'll listen to it? Oh yeah, that's how it rolls. Welcome to this thing we're importing to Ukraine. Wow, that sounds pretty cool. In a normal world, I would need 10 full-time employees for 6 months for a project of this scale. We were 3. Me, a project coordinator, and a first-time architect. We had volunteers helping us as well. But man, this was the hardest project I've ever done in my life. And not even career, I'm saying life, right? But we did everything ourselves in the backyard of our office. We prototyped everything, every tactical urbanism bench we dreamt up, all the facilities. I'm standing there for months on end, covered in sawdust, holding power tools, trying to take the drawing of the bench in my head and like make it a thing, you know. Is that going to support the weight of a human? Yeah, no idea. Let's hope so. You know, everything, man. That was really a cool process. You never get to do that. You got other people doing it for you, you know. Like, we did everything. And then it was time to start implementation, following the tactical urbanism rule book. We started with color and art, bringing that dull gray asphalt to life. Then we started installing benches and trees, a 2-month process of implementation. I kind of designed a boulevard down the middle with the benches and trees to narrow it in on this massive space, give it some context. Lots of activities for people, ping pong, skate ramp for kids, you got petanque, and this outdoor chess set. This is my baby. I took all the offcuts, all the leftover wood from the rest of the project, and I made these very simple chess pieces. And it's the most popular thing on the square. It's like very Eastern European, right? But they stand in line to play chess. And it's not like dudes like me. It's like, you know, young teenage girls, it's parents with kids. It's amazing to see it. But on every piece, there's a sticker. It says, you know, if you play an average game of chess, you're going to lift 350 kilograms in the course of that game. So it's mental and physical strength combined, and the Ukrainians love that, man. The scale of this space is massive. We have to work with zones. So at one end of the square, I designed this scaffolding structure. Super fun to work with, actually, in tactical urbanism. You know, it's got benches and tables, shade and greenery. There's a swing, a really popular spot. And then there's this structure in the middle, kind of our showpiece structure. The scale of the place is so crazy. It was really, I mean, put me in a bar, buy me some wine. The design challenges of this project, man, I could talk for hours about it. Really, like, rewarding at the end of the day, not at the moment. But this green urban hub, just for seating, like the temperature's 15 degrees cooler in there than outside, even in a structure like that. 30-meter long interactive pixel artwork. People can write whatever they want with these the doors flipping back and forth, you know, make drawings. Donated by a Danish friend of mine, the artist Thomas Dambo. Incredibly popular spot as well on the square. And very unusual in Ukraine, something like this as well. Yeah, but then we got to the point where we opened it in July this year. And I really don't know how we pulled this off. I'm not even joking. I go back to this in my head, like to this day today. How did all of these weird moving parts end up here? I have no idea. It boggles my mind. But it was a success from the first day. We brought Kontraktova Square back to life, back from the dead. You know, the benches were barely installed and people were occupying them, man. And it's just so rewarding to see how the people of the neighborhood, firstly, and the people of Kyiv have embraced this location. It really is overwhelming, you know. I knew we were going to do a good job. Like, I believed in the vision, you know. It wasn't hard to flip this space. There was nothing. One bench and one tree and you're already winning, you know. But it's overwhelming. Every time I'm there, like, people come up to me, like young hipsters, elderly, families. They're going, hey, Danish guy, thank you for this. Oh, kills me. Thank you. That's why we do what we do, man. After all that hard work. It's the world's largest tactical urbanism project. New York, 2008, Times Square, they did something similar, closed off the streets to traffic, threw out some benches and tables, observed, wow, popular. They made it permanent. They had 10,000 square meters. I Googled it because this guy had 11,000, so probably the world's largest tactical urbanism project, you know? But the thing is, man, we did it in a war zone. We did it exclusively with volunteers. We did it completely exhausted after yet another sleepless night after yet another brutal missile and drone attack on the city. Showing up in the morning going, that was rough. Jesus, intense. Where do you live? Oh my God, that was crazy out there. Let's get to work. Air raid sirens echoing off the surrounding buildings. Let's get to work. For us, that was really the only reasonable response to terrorism. Getting back to work and making things better. All of these people, the amazing volunteers, everybody just making things better. So I went to Ukraine thinking I'm going to use my skills and expertise from working in 100 countries around the world over 20 years, and I'm going to help the Ukrainian people. Honest intention, right? I didn't know I was going to learn stuff like all the time. I love learning new things. It really blows my mind how many things I was learning. Expanding my knowledge base like on all of these topics and many other more. And you know, also my own skills. Like I said, covered in sawdust for a year and a half with power tools trying to make shit that doesn't break, you know. Like if anybody needs a house built tomorrow, hit me up after the talk, man. I'm your guy. Man, so cool. But like, you know what? Like you don't make money. You're a volunteer. Right there, that's my paycheck. All this cool stuff. All of the stuff I've learned, I realize I have a new book. I'm still writing it at the moment. Welcome to Analogville. I studied in great detail how cities responded to the pandemic all over the world. I'm studying war cities in Ukraine and how they respond to it. I'm applying all of this to how we need to tackle climate crisis. Let's just call it climate collapse, right? What is the pattern? It's very, very basic, man. Simple analog solutions are all we're gonna need. Smart cities can, they're going to die a very quick death when the grid goes down. Like, this is the catalog of ideas that you see. This is what makes Ukrainian cities, function, right? It is converted trams that carry water in a city that hasn't had any fresh water for 3 years. It's a diesel generator. Yeah, we shouldn't burn diesel. Diesel generators get the job done. Solar panels. A normal bike that you use your muscles, not the ones you push buttons, man. And, it's a high-tech drone war. It is so scary near the front lines. It's like dystopian future scary, man. But every road in the east and the south of Ukraine are now covered with used fishing nets from Europe to stop these high-tech drones. I love it. These analog solutions, that's what's going to help us get through all the stuff that's coming for us. I learned about the power of volunteers, man. The volunteer spirit in Ukraine is like nothing I've ever experienced. The most rewarding experience of my professional life. I think I've had 1,500 people help me on all of my projects. And it's just been beautiful. And they have new skills now with all of our sponsored tools. You got 19-year-old Ukrainian girls who can just build stuff, amazing to watch them evolve and grow. Mostly Ukrainians, but there is a tribe of foreigners, especially this year. Just regular individuals like me showing up in Ukraine going, hi, how can I help? It's really kind of a Spanish Civil War vibe at the moment. This year, after 3.5 years, it's really cool. And the square, Kontraktova, that was built by people from 18 different countries around the world. I learned about resilience. 3 years we've been saying, oh yeah, the Ukrainians are so resilient, and they are, like nobody else. But when you're there living with them that long, you get it. It's in every person you talk to, every person that walks past you on the street, everybody sitting next to you on the metro, it's there. And you got to learn to find your own damn resilience. We all have it in us, but you're digging through your bag of life shit going, oh, there's my resilience. No, didn't need that before. Better put it in, because I'm living there with them. The Russians don't care who they kill. You need to have your resilience. But, I'm learning from the world champions, right? I know that urbanism is a powerful tool for making cities better, improving urban lives. I've always known that. Everybody working in urbanism and any of these professions, we know this, right? Oh, I've learned that urbanism is so many more things. Urbanism is a medicine. I see it every single day. Making a bench, planting a tree, watering some plants, like the volunteers, the people using our facilities afterwards. It's a medicine. If it takes our mind off of all the shit that we have to deal with every single day for 30 minutes, a couple of hours, it is medicine and it works. In one of my more poetic moments, probably at a wine bar, definitely at a wine bar, I just realized, you know what urbanism is? It's an orchestra. It's beautiful collective music, and if you play it just right, it has the power to drown out the incessant percussion of the Russian war machine. That is powerful. But you know what urbanism is, man? It's a superpower. It's a fucking superpower. It can bloom and blossom in the rubble of war. It can have an immediate, important impact. You don't need blueprints or planning phases. You just need passion and drive and a reason to do it, a belief in change. You need a problem to be solved, of course, right? Every superhero has a nemesis. The superpower defeats them, and that is our superpower. Let's be honest. Urbanism and design, they're not going to stop a war. These structures I designed, no surprise, they're not going to stop a missile or a drone strike. But look at what else they can do. They can give people a space in which to breathe, forget, hope, dream, relax, maybe even heal. A place where they feel like they belong, oasis of calm in a world of chaos. This is not just the Ukrainian war zone, man. This is any war zone. This is any region, place that suffers from the effects of the climate collapse. This is so many different things. You know what urbanism is? It's the resistance. All of you beautiful people here, with all the beautiful things that you know, you all have this superpower. It really is time for us to use it collectively. You can come to Ukraine with me and do some cool stuff. You can go back home and work on solving all the other problems that cities are facing with the future we're facing. But if we use our collective superpowers, man, then we can resist. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 baby. That's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? It's our job if you're in this profession, but really with the future that we're facing, all the shit that's coming for us, expanded war in Europe, climate collapse, absolutely, it really is our duty. I'm the last man standing here at Utopian Hours, but I stand with Gaza, I stand with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini! Thank you. Thank you.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Grazie.
Bravo, bravo.